The Spice Girls. In their 1996 mega smash hit Wannabe, they told us what they really, really wanted. And that was girl power. Yep, girl power. That vague, nebulous term that seemingly means just about cool.
This is about girl power. This is not about picking up guys. This is about girl power.
Yeah, sure, girl power. I can get behind that, you know. Women's rights, not being told what to do by men, but is that really what you want?
It's about spreading a positive vibe, kicking it for the girls,
having a laugh.
Yeah.
Nothing more specific than that. Maternity pay, reproductive rights, more representation of women in boardrooms.
What about picking up guys? We don't need men to control our lives. We control our lives anyway.
Okay, I think I'm getting it. So, girl power wasn't much of a message. Basically, girl power seemed to consist of a free and easy sexuality wrapped up in tight clothes and platform shoes, but with friendship always coming first, because if you want to be my lover, you've got to get with my friends. Which always struck me as odd lyrics. But where did girl power come from, and did it do anything for feminism? Or is it just as hollow as it sounds? Let's discuss that while I make spicy, Spice Girls themed chai cake tiramisu. God, I love a good pun. Most people attest the phrase girl power to the Riot Grrrl movement in North America in the 90s. It was a punk trend aimed largely at teenagers and young women. Shouty, brash, political, songs from Bikini Kill were filled with lyrics about a woman's right to her body, harassment and abuse. Riot Grrrl groups published hand-copied zines and got together for feminist marches across America. I don't know how the phrase girl power then ended up in a bubblegum British pop band. Maybe it was a case of convergent evolution? Or they directly stole it, which I'm less likely to believe because Riot Grrrl was already petering out by the late 90s. Some people blame the Spice Girls for this, and some blame the Spice Girls for the end of feminism itself. Caitlin Moran wrote, "We stopped using the word feminism right around the time the Spice Girls came along, which is one of the reasons why they annoy me, and we just started saying girl power. I think we thought that the fight had been won, and instead of talking about boring old feminism with its boring old legislation and boring old history, we just started talking about girl power instead." This is all outlandish backlash. You can't blame the decline of feminism on one sugary 90s girl group. The Spice Girls were an effect, not a cause. To say otherwise is to grant them an alarming amount of agency. It's also a massive oversimplification to say that feminism had declined at all. Sure, it wasn't as prominent in the news as in the 70s days of yore, but passionate feminist activists and authors were still writing and still being activists, and the field of feminism in academia was still relatively young. Every generation ever has always said of the following generation that they weren't X, Y, or Z enough, usually with very little evidence to support that claim. Girl groups haven't gone away either, and whilst most of them don't actively push a girl power agenda, it comes through quite a lot in their lyrics. So I've already debunked the idea that the Spice Girls were responsible for the not even real in the first place decline of feminism. There are, however, ways the Spice Girls did do us harm. Yes, girl power was a completely vacuous term. It didn't offer anything more solid than "girls are great, yay girls!" Mel B, aka Scary Spice, and let's for a second think of the implications that the only mixed-race person in the entire group was the scary one. She has recently come out saying she is not a feminist. There was one scene in Spice World where Jerry, Ginger Spice, scared off a date by talking about feminism. That is the only time I can actually find that they really talked about it. Perhaps it was a bad thing that girls were taking in such a bland message, just a broad whoop whoop for the sisterhood. But they weren't given any direction to pursue or any deeper messages to think about. And even if they claimed to be demonstrating a vague positive message, it was actually being pushed by producers, managers and PR people. usually men, who are using empowerment to sell things. Everything from concert tickets to bed linen, and a terrible, terrible movie.
It's a story of love.
I think with boys, you should be able to just wheel them in.
Yeah, and order them like a pizza.
Yeah, no cheese.
And that empowerment was often quite sexualised. Thinking back on it, Baby Spice really was quite creepy. The idea of the baby girl, doll, schoolgirl twiddling a lollipop in her mouth was quite perverse. Though looking through the lyrics of their top 8 hits according to Billboard, most of them were actually pretty clean, with the slight exception of Two Become One, which even then is pretty cloyingly innocent for today's standards.
I need some love like I never needed love before. Wanna make love to you, baby.
For the most part, their music was fun and upbeat and suitable for children.
And maybe it boosted a few girls' self-esteem. The simple messages of friends before boys made young girls feel smart, and having a cheesy mantra to chant helps you stand up to mean boys in class. Perhaps it helped push a few more girls into an I can do anything attitude and take up a more classically boys subject or be more sporty.
Yes, Sporty Spice. One of the things that the Spice Girls were really good at was highlighting the distinguished personalities within the group. Remember that it's in early adolescence that people are most struggling with who they are and who they want to be. So to have 5 distinct personalities be available as different forms of ways to be a girl, yes, each personality was a caricature, but even to be showing a variety at all was a good thing at least. And especially Sporty Spice. How many teeny boppers these days do you think would be allowed to go around in sports bras and trainers? It also showed that girls with very different personalities and personas could get along together rather than having to form different cliques. I remember me and my school friends going around the playground asking which of the Spice Girls we thought we were. 2 decades before BuzzFeed started doing it for everything under the sun! And who knows, maybe it created a few entry-level feminists. That's certainly what Rhiannon Lucy Coslet from Vagenda says of herself. Sure, it was pretty airheaded, but it's difficult to get people into feminism. I don't think we'd have a huge amount of success if we went around handing out copies of The Female Eunuch to people. You need to start people off at these base level ideas, especially when people are younger. I'm willing to give up the purity of the ideology for more members of the sisterhood. So at worst, we can say that the Spice Girls didn't do much positive for the feminist cause, but they didn't do us any harm either. Except maybe by making a truly terrible movie.
There were other girl groups like Destiny's Child, TLC, basically any group that ever wrote a ballad about girls being beautiful just the way they are.
And body positivity is great, sure. Accept who you are, love your body, yada yada, that kind of thing. But it's a bit of a difficult message to swallow when it's coming from women who have hairstylists, clothes stylists and personal fitness gurus on hand 24/7. And I'd love to hear a female empowerment song that was actually about girls being really clever or really good at origami or something. All these groups have faced the same problems of trying to stay on track with their positive messages whilst also appealing to a mass audience and being marketable, but trying not to contradict their own positive messages. It's a hard job, nor is it the responsibility of any girl group to change the world or take a stance on feminism. Pretty much everything you love is self-contradictory or problematic at some point. But as cheesy as these female empowerment anthems might be, they're probably still most young girls' first ever encounter with these ideas. That women can stand up for themselves and be whoever they want to be and not take any shit from men. And if you're not a feminist, there's still good songs to dance to. So here's a story from A to Z. You want to get with me? You better listen carefully. We got M in the place who likes it, in your face we got G like and C who likes it on an easy V. Doesn't come for free, she's a real lady. As for me, you'll see. Slam your body down and wind it all around. Slam your body down and wind it all around. I am incredibly lame.